All righty. And we are so excited to have you here with us today because I'm going to be talking about the secrets of sponsorship success. All righty. So let's start off with what is sponsorship? So sponsorship is a form of marketing in which a company pays for the right to be associated with a particular event, team, individual, or organization. So it is a mutually beneficial arrangement as the sponsor receives visibility and brand exposure while the recipient receives funding or other forms of support. So often, if you're going to be putting on an event, or you want to be doing something and you need some funding to help launch it, help market it, to expand it, to ensure that it's going to be an amazing event, then sponsorship is a fantastic approach. So what are the benefits of getting a sponsor? So there are several benefits, including increased funding and support, greater visibility and exposure because you can market further, access to resources and expertise. Sometimes when you bring on a brand partner, they actually have suggestions as well. Credibility and legitimacy. So if you're bringing on, large companies such as American Express or GoDaddy or somebody that's big in your field, obviously associating with that brand helps to expand your relevance and authority, especially when you're using social media. It's a potential for long-term partnerships. If this goes well, when you approach them again, it's a situation where they will really be about how much do you need, or, how much based on the return on investment that they can expect. It's a potential to reach a wider audience, especially if they're willing to do any form of promotion at all. Then, of course, you'd be exposed to their audience as well. And let's take a look at some facts and figures about sponsoring events, and especially if you want to get somebody for your podcast or your online TV show. In 2021, the global sponsorship market was valued at over 65 billion. Over 80% of companies use sponsorship as part of their marketing strategy, so that's the good news. Podcast advertising revenue is projected to surpass $1 billion. So it's starting to be an area where people are used to investing their marketing dollars. The most popular podcast genres for sponsorship are comedy, news, politics, and society and culture. So even if your particular podcast doesn't run into that, there are so many ways to integrate sponsors who want to reach your exact target market. And event sponsors are based on target audience or message the sponsor needs to connect with. So you need to keep this in mind when you're approaching them. So what are the types of sponsorships? So there's a few. The first is title sponsorship, and this is the primary sponsor of an event. There's presenting sponsorships, and so that means it could be a secondary sponsor of an event. It also means that you could be giving them a presentation opportunity if this is a live event. Official sponsorships, which is the sponsor is granted exclusive rights to certain aspects of the event, whether they can, have that presentation, or they're the primary logo, or they have the banner front and center on the stage, so it's recorded and everything. Or as part of your show, they may be, the only commercial in there. And contributing sponsorship. So that's a sponsor that provides support or funding for a specific aspect of the event. These can include things such as, swag bags, or even providing lunch. And product sponsorship. So a sponsor that provides products or services for the event. So let's say somebody is a web domain in that industry and they're sponsoring your event. Maybe they built the website. Or they're, of course, providing something at the event that people can take advantage of. All righty. So next up is the benefits of sponsoring. So, sponsoring an event can also provide a number of benefits. And this, when you're approaching sponsors, is what you always have to keep in mind because it's all about what's in it for them, right? So, you're going to talk to them about increased brand awareness and recognition, targeted marketing specific to their audience. So if you run a women's organization and they're starting to target market, or their target market is women, then they're going to be very interested in reaching your target market. Association with a popular or successful event or organization. Let's say you run something that's highly respected in the industry. They're going to want to jump in and piggyback on that. And it's an opportunity for product or service promotion. So, if you're running and perhaps even a local event, or your podcast is on, being a mommy, and then you can approach companies who have products, of course, for babies or mummies, and they would be interested in being featured in that way. And it's a chance for direct engagement if it's a live event, or maybe they're a featured guest on a podcast, then they can participate in that way. And it's definitely a potential for increased sales and revenue. Now, brand awareness, that's, hey, everybody knows about you now. But when you end up with increased sales and revenue, so what the company is going to deem as a return on investment, that's when they're going to be very excited, and it's really going to be a repeating situation. So how do you attract sponsors? The first way and the first step is you have to define your target audience and tailor your proposal to their interests. So you want to make it very compelling and relevant to them. If they feel understood and valued, they're more likely to engage and, of course, take action on it. It creates an emotional connection with them, and it allows you to tap into their hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And it helps you to establish a strong, long-lasting relationship with them of trust. The secret, of course, the overall secret to attracting sponsors is you have to build that long-lasting relationship of trust. And when you do that, that's when you're really going to start to grow in this arena. And then it increases your chances of the proposal being accepted when, they have a target market of women and you're approaching them saying, hey, my target market is women 45 and up that use these products. And in fact, they use your product. That's going to help with the appeal. The next step is you want to really start to build out your brand, because a strong brand can attract sponsors. So you want to make sure your podcast, your TV show, or your event has a unique voice and an identity. And then this is really going to make it easy for sponsors to see the value in partnering with you. If there is a message disconnect to what they have and what you do, they're not going to be interested at all. So you really want to take the time to find those sponsors that are directly aligned with what you're always speaking about. And the third way to attract sponsors is to have a really strong media kit. So this is a great tool to showcase your podcast, your TV show, or your event. And then it's going to additionally add detailed statistics on your audience size, demographics, and engagement levels to demonstrate the value of sponsorship, and include your social media reach. They're always looking for that broadened awareness. And then if you have it, include any previous sponsorships. That will prove to the success of what you have done. And of course, you might be able to even provide statistics on the sponsorship results of that person. And then you want to make sure it's visually appealing and easy to read and demonstrates clearly the ROI. That's like page 1. Do not bury any of the content that they're looking for. It's almost like an executive summary. And then how do you continue to attract them? Number 4 is to find the right sponsors. So you want to look for sponsors that align with your brand and audience. You want to research their values to see if they match yours, because even though you might be looking at it from your perspective, as soon as you approach a potential sponsor, they're immediately going to be looking at that. So you might as well have done the work before you waste their time. And then it's going to help you to create that more authentic and long-term partnership when they clearly see the connection. And how do you find the sponsors? You can perform a search on LinkedIn using keywords such as sponsorship opportunities or sponsorship available to find companies that may have such information on their profiles. Then, of course, you're going to go through that attraction process. You're going to take a look at them. You're going to see if their message matches yours. You can even take a look to see if they have done sponsorship opportunities, and if so, where was it? When you are able to really match up all those dots when you're talking to them, you can say things like, hey, I noticed you were a sponsor at XYZ event. Well, not only are we similar to that, but we have, this, and this, which are better suited to your product or company. All right. So you want to have all of this readily available. You can also go to the internet and search for events or podcasts that are similar to yours and see if they have any logos or mention sponsors. If they do, then of course you can start to take a look and say, hey, I noticed again, you sponsored XYZ podcast or XYZ show. I have something similar. Would you like that additional access to my target market, which directly connects and relates to the market that you're looking for? And if they do, you really just want to start to create a list and then contact them with the data about your opportunity once you've ensured that connection. So the next step is to reach out and create that relationship. So you want to send a personalized email to potential sponsors, introduce yourself, rapidly hook them with that key benefit, explain why you think you would be a good fit, and then you can include your media kit. And then, of course, with everything, you need to follow up with a phone call, and if possible, arrange that meeting, allow them to have you show them more details on a Zoom call in particular is really good, as you can show them visuals like, hey, here's what my show looks like. Here's what your branding looks like, together they would look like this, create some mock-ups so that they can visually see how it's going to look. Hey, here's my website. Here's how your logo will appear. Here's the different positions, or here's a sample of my podcast. You would insert at 13 minutes for 30 seconds. And then again, I would talk about at the beginning of the show, this show is sponsored by. You really want to put them in the moment so they can experience what it's going to be like to work with you. Then your sponsorship package options. So you want to really present a variety of packages composed of different options and pricing. It's going to make them easier to test the waters, maybe with something that's lower cost before they jump all in with you. And it's going to also make it easier for them to choose a level of exposure that they want. Maybe they want to, be that exclusive, or they are okay just being on the website and maybe having a table at the event. And then you want to talk about all the things that they're going to get: podcast ads, social media mentions, website placement, event sponsorships can include banners, presentations, swag bags, lunch sponsorship. They can do product giveaways, provide branded gifts, and more. You want to, again, have all of these options so it's like a buffet that they can pick and choose from. Now we're down to the alternatives to sponsoring. And this is key because they are going to have a limited market budget. And they're thinking to themselves already, we spend this much on Facebook and this much on Instagram, this much on LinkedIn, this much on video marketing and YouTube, this much on whatever. Why would I maybe divert some of those funds to sponsoring? So what you want to do is bring that to their attention, because in their mind, they might be thinking, oh, we don't have a sponsorship budget right now, or we've already exceeded it or used it. And you want to make them well aware that this is a great opportunity. So you can talk about, hey, you might be doing social media marketing, but you know what? You have a dependence on algorithms. They got high ad fees. It constantly needs monitoring, and it has a very short lifespan. In our situation, you're going to be on the website for a year until the next event rolls around, et cetera, right? You can say, now, I know you might be doing influencer marketing, but that can be costly, especially if you lean towards celebrities. It's very short-lived. In some cases, it's one post for what the entire sponsorship could cost. And it may at some point have a negative impact based on the behavior of that influencer. And so you want to be very aware that your brand integrity could be at stake by really pushing out a promotion through an influencer. And then content marketing, it's extremely time consuming. Results take a long time. It's like search engine optimization. It's difficult to stand out, and it requires constant effort, and it can be very costly putting all of these assets together, distributing them, placing them, researching hashtags, all of that. Or you could go here and have a one-stop shop. So you really want to make it so that your option seems irresistible. So if you can to provide statistics and comparisons as to why their marketing dollars are better spent here than there. And so that will start you on the journey towards partnering for success. So sponsorship isn't just about getting a check. It's about building that long-term mutual relationship with companies that share your values and goals. All righty. So what you want to do now is start reaching out so you can have the relationship in place for when you need it. You want to dig the well before you're thirsty. Are you ready for your next step? I'm inviting you to join me in my Message to Millions mentoring program. This is about a transformation, moving you towards your purpose-driven goals, aligning your activities, helping you stay focused on strategies that accomplish 3 objectives: increase your income, increase your influence, help you build a legacy and freedom lifestyle. You can get more details at messagetomillionsmastermind.com. If you're ready to go for your next step, schedule a call with me, and I'll help you choose a program that will fit your budget and ensure you can accomplish your goals for self and business. And the main issue for every business is you can't read the label from inside the jar. And this can produce gaps that are causing you to lose prospects, time, money, and opportunity. I created a 20-question quiz called Find the Gap that reveals for your business the major issues that will cause a problem in your growth. To take that quiz and get the results exactly for your business, go to fastfixmarketing.com. I look forward to continuing to be a part of your journey to financial freedom. And thank you for joining me on today's episode, and I'll see you next time on reachmillions.tv.